If you've been keeping up with Deepwoken and its development progress over the past few months, you're probably familiar with the idea that there will be some kind of spell creation system. It's a topic that's been brought up by testers, the devs, through gameplay footage, and leaks. Over the past couple of days on Twitter, Rag has given us some updates about the spell system and some insight as to where Deepwoken is in its testing progress and release. In this video, I'm basically just going to outline and consolidate the things Rag has said, starting with... Rag made a tweet serving as a poll to gauge the community's thoughts on using guides and or playing through the game blind, and it seems like the overall takeaway on this is that there isn't really any kind of tutorial now, but Rag wants to find a way to make a seamless tutorial to explain some of the basic mechanics or more unique aspects of the game that could be harder to grasp so players can figure out the fun stuff for themselves. Keeping the tutorial from being intrusive or making players feel like the game is hand-holding is probably their goal here, and it makes perfect sense, especially if you're familiar with the rogue community. This is speculation, but I think if there is a tutorial, it'll be fairly light and probably optional. Just taking into account how careful Rag has been with preventing spoilers so people can have a blind experience is enough to show that Deepwoken will be something where the devs want players to discover most of the mechanics on their own. Moving on to the next topic, we have something slightly sad is the death of Blue Lightning. I personally really liked it, but due to the fact that it wasn't visually distinct, meaning it was confusable with other spell types or abilities, namely Ice, the color of Lightning was in fact changed. Next up, we have confirmation of the spell creation system being significantly altered. It's hard to determine what was explicitly changed from what we are already aware of, since part of Rag's answer was fairly vague, as are most of his comments to keep from spoiling the game, but we do know that spell editing is still going to exist. What this means is perhaps you'll be able to acquire pre-existing spells and learn them, then tweak them to better suit your needs or build. This isn't confirmed and is complete speculation, but going off of what we know, this is a pretty reasonable conclusion to draw. I could still be completely wrong. Fortunately though, I think this concept can be applied to pretty much all the mechanics of the game we've seen, since the devs are changing and improving things to make the game more enjoyable upon release, and this includes leaked mechanics and things from gameplay footage we've seen in the past. Since the next section is pretty minor, I'm just gonna call it Rag addresses Vanity and Cosmetics and says that they won't be available on release, and Vanity slots or items likely will be released in a patch later on. The devs have said in the past that many features and pieces of content will be released through patches, otherwise it would take longer than Cyberpunk 2077 to release the game. Speaking of release, the game is now in the final phase of testing, and we can expect a release pretty soon. Unfortunately, since Deepwoken is just a high school assignment for Rag, we'll probably get a release on December 21st at 11:59 PM.